What's up, guys? Back with another episode of the Summer Diaries. Really enjoying this new format, short, sharp episodes without a lot of scripting or planning, and a chance to just share ideas and whatever's front of mind. And I wanted to talk today about the concept of time and how, in many ways, time is not linear. This is a concept that's come up again and again this year in my reading. So it's heavy in 10x is easier than 2x. And then it's also heavily referenced in tiny experiments. The ancient Greeks had two definitions of time: Kronos time and Kairos time. Kronos time, as you might guess from the name, Kronos, chronological, is that linear definition of time that we are all familiar with. Time is a series of blocks, one after the other, in which you'll do something for an allotted amount of time, and then you'll do the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. If you look at your work calendar, that is very much a Kronos definition of time. You've got this meeting for this hour, then you've got to write the report, then you go for lunch, then you go to the gym, hopefully, and then you come back for that 1 p.m. meeting, and on and on and on. But the ancient Greeks said that that is not the only definition of time, and that there is also a unique quality to time in that when you are lost in something that you find deeply profound or enjoyable or fulfilling, it's very easy to lose complete track of time. And that is their definition of what they called Kairos time. Kronos time is about a linear process. Kairos time is about living a deep, rich, fulfilling life. And the more you can tap into that, the more rewarding, the more fulfilling your life will be. I'm sure we've all had that experience where you're really engrossed in something, and it could be a conversation with your kid or your partner or a friend. It could be a day on holiday where you were exploring and you were just completely immersed in what you were doing. It could be a hobby that you're really into. I know for Lucy, she loves sewing and textiles, and I know for her, she gets really lost in that, and she can spend hours and hours and hours deep in whatever she's doing. When I mentioned this in my client community earlier this week, one of the guys said that it's building Lego for him. It could be gaming. And when I was thinking about this for myself, I think there's a few things that come up. Being in the gym and training is somewhere where I don't ever think about time. And in fact, I don't ever think about anything else. I find it meditative in that I don't have to think about, oh, I'm stressed about that thing, or I've got to do those 7 things today while I'm training, because all I'm focused on is the training and having some banging music on, feeding into my brain. But that's an example of where I'm just completely immersed and engrossed in a task. Another thing is when I'm having conversations with my kids, sometimes, not always, but sometimes I just feel a sense of enjoyment and appreciation about the conversation, and I want to have the conversation. Or maybe it's having a conversation with someone interesting about a topic that you're really passionate about. If I'm talking to people about growing a business, or maybe health or productivity, these topics that I really care deeply about, then I can find that I can just be completely immersed in that conversation. And you lose track of time. It could be minutes, it could be hours. But the point is, it doesn't actually matter if it's minutes or hours because you're so immersed in the activity. And the reason I'm talking about this, the reason it keeps coming back to my conscious mind is I think because so much of our life is on autopilot, and so much of our life is spent rushing from one thing to another. And I'm guilty of this. Like, I'm quite impatient sometimes, and when we've got to get somewhere, I can be getting my kids to, come on, do this, do that, let's go, rushing from one thing to another. And I'm also conscious of the way in which my parenting can then potentially have that impact on my kids as well. So the summer holidays are coming up. They're excited about that. But I said to Bailey the other day, oh, well, the good news is you've only got 2 Mondays until the summer holidays. Meant as a positive thing, and in a way it is positive. I want him to be excited about getting time off school and spending time with friends and family and stuff. But there is a negative side to that because it's getting him thinking about always wishing his life away for some future endeavor or some future milestone that's going to happen. I remember when I was in my 9 to 5, there were lots of guys who were like in their 50s, maybe early 60s, and they were very of the mindset of, well, yeah, this is shit and I'm really stressed out, but I can retire in 3 years. And that's a great example of where a fixation on Kronos time or linear time can lead to you forgetting to live in the moment or to find true fulfillment or enjoyment in your present state. And the great and cruel irony of that mindset is that future day, that future state might never come. It might never come because the reality might not be what you expected it to be, but it also might never come because none of us know how long we have, and catastrophic things can happen and unpredictable things can happen that can impact on our life. And therefore, what I'm trying to do and what I'm thinking about more and more is how I can find more Kairos time on a day-to-day basis. I get it when I'm reading something I'm really interested in, or just when I'm doing something enjoyable, walking in nature, just finding those ways to be grounded, to be present in what you're doing, not distracted by your phone or screens or technology, not living by your calendar, which I'm so guilty of. Work these hours, I've got this block each week to do this focus work, I've got this other block to record a podcast or whatever it might be. And we have to live a lot of our lives by those milestones and those time hinges. But if you live your whole life that way, it can be so easy to just see life as a grind or a process that you're trying to get through without remembering that the whole point of this is to find immersion and deepness and fulfillment in the present moment. So I would encourage you to think about how you can find more Kairos time, because the more Kairos time you find, the more you immerse yourself in experiences that you enjoy and appreciate and that challenge you intellectually or that bring you joy and excitement, the more life you get, the more time you get in your life. So 1 hour can become 3 hours. A day can become multiple days, just through the act of finding ways to stay present, stay mindful in what you're doing, and really appreciating all the things you have, all the things you get to do, all the people in your life, all the experiences. Yeah, I don't mean washing the dishes or putting the bins out. Thank you. I get to put the bins out every Tuesday. I have to do all of the bins in our house. No one in my house will listen to this, but I swear everybody in my house thinks I am the bin monitor and just piles everything up knowing that I'm going to deal with it. I'm not sure anyone knows where the bins actually are. They do really. But when you're having a conversation with your kid or your partner, or you've got a meal out or a weekend trip, instead of trying to get through it or falling into that trap of being in autopilot, see if next time you've got an opportunity for something like that, you can stay present with what you're doing without being distracted, without seeking something else, new stimulation, or without living by a calendar or a schedule, and just see what potential difference that makes to your mindset, your enjoyment of the experience, and see how time can become malleable and flexible. Because the more you can tap into that, the deeper your life will be, the more fulfilling, the more enjoyable your life will be. And it's not only about you, it's the ripple effect of the positive impact that that also will have on the people around you as well. So short and sweet, just some thoughts that probably need some refinement, to be honest, but that's the spirit of the Summer Diaries. I am off on a couple of trips for the rest of this week, first with Lucy and then with some friends. So that's a fantastic opportunity for me to truly switch off from my work, which I'm really bad at. Even now, I'm better than I used to be. But I find that if I do try to stay connected, even just like 20, 30%, it erodes the quality of my experiences with what I'm there to do. And that's the irony, I think, in a lot of the ways that people live in that Kronos time. We look forward to a holiday, we look forward to it. And then when we're there, we just end up distracting ourselves or not really immersing ourselves in the experiences that we're having. I know I've done that. So I'm going to take the opportunity this week after today to truly switch off and disconnect and spend time with people I like and love and enjoy new locations and new experiences. And then I know I'm going to come back refreshed, replenished, and ready to attack my goals again next week and into the summer. So have a good one. As always, we'd love to know what you think about this topic. If you want to read more about it, the book Tiny Experiment is fantastic. It's, along with 4,000 Weeks, the other book that I've started gifting to a lot of my clients. In fact, I'm going to do a separate pod this summer on tiny experiments, particularly how I am using it in the business, because it has been transformative for me. But Anne-Laure Lecomte, the author, goes into detail about this concept there. But also, if you just Google Kairos versus Kronos, or maybe ask ChatGPT. You'll get a good explanation of it there. So until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Take care.